How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Loud Podcast. Today, our special guest is Wendy Baker from Space Jam. How are you doing today, Wendy?
Oh my God, I'm doing so good, James. It's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So the last time I saw you, I believe was at Grateful Dead's 60th anniversary. What an amazing time.
Oh my God, I know. We have seen each other since then.
Yeah.
I guess at Hall of Flowers too.
Oh yeah, Hall of Flowers too.
I know. We see each other so much. It's
so
like
much.
hard,
Yeah,
but
you're on the event circuit as well.
I'm on the event circus. I know. We saw you at Cannafest too. Yeah, definitely. But I think that the Grateful Dead 60th was like one for the books. Like, I'm so grateful to be there. You know, cannabis is like a huge part of my journey, especially with listening to Grateful Dead music and stuff.
Totally.
So.
Well, and you know, I talk about this on the show quite often, but I feel like we're an evolution of the Grateful Dead, the hippie movement, all of that stuff. We're living, eating, sleeping, and breathing that movement today, or what that movement has kind of become. And it's pretty special going to events like that with 60,000 plus people a day. I mean, it was pretty wild, and the music was amazing. The energy was great. I got to see a lot of friends I haven't seen in a long time. It was a lot of fun.
I know. I had such a great time. Definitely. We had Space Jams for sale for the first time ever, like at a Grateful Dead show too. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was arrested for a bunch of goo balls like back in the day at like a Widespread Panic show. So just like that evolution of selling it there was like really like amazing and like totally tripped out, like some timeline healing, I guess, you know?
I bet. Yeah. I mean, the music was so good and the vibe was so good. And the fact that everything was legal, it's where the world needs to go. And I think the fact that you're able to sell gummies at an event like that. Yeah. We had Humboldt seeds. They had flour up there. I mean, it was just incredible. All the different things that were available, and they had their own area. I mean, that whole area that was available for consumption and for purchasing stuff. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, and just like a Grateful Dead crowd, how many people it brought from all over. I was like actually shocked because I stood in front of the line and helped guide people to bud tenders and stuff at Embark. And I was like so grateful that I did that because I saw people from Tennessee, Kentucky, people that I've never seen cannabis like that. They didn't even know that they could buy cannabis in that way.
Totally.
And also another awesome thing was people coming back the next day. You know what I mean? And that was like what was really crazy because you don't see that as like an edible like person. You don't see your customer the next day. And like I saw them the next day in line and then the next day. So 3 days, that was like really amazing to see and like feedback and stuff.
For sure. Yeah, we sat next to some people from Virginia, I believe, and other places too. But it was like they were just blown away by the accessibility of stuff in California.
Yeah.
You know, and then beyond that, everybody had their own stuff at the show too. And it was wild.
Totally. And they're like, can we fly with this? Like, what do we do? I'm like, who's going to get you in trouble? Like, I'm not suggesting it, but I'm just going to say, who's going to get you in trouble?
Totally.
You know, like that's something that should be said.
Yeah. As long as you're not smelling like it, I think they pretty much don't care. You know, they profile me.
You're like, they profile me.
Yeah.
I think I always smell like it, to totally be honest. So I don't even like care anymore, I think.
For sure. The only time I care is going through TSA because they do like, they look at me crazy and then they want to search all my stuff. And so, yeah, they'll pull me out of line. But, you know, it is what it is. It's part of the job too, I think, because podcasts and because of publicity, all this stuff, it definitely doesn't help.
Oh my God. I just like walk through no matter what. I'm like, here we go. Here are the Space Gems. They never even take them out or anything. That's so crazy. Yeah. We have to have our medicine wherever we go.
With other cannabis events, we've had great music too. Cannafest, it was nuts. Drink cheese.
Oh my God, that was incredible. Yes. And my kid was with me. My 9-year-old was like right up front too. And just how I'm crazy to see
Extremely
that.
special. Yeah.
It's extremely special. Definitely. I know they did. And just everyone coming to Humboldt and all the people coming from Humboldt from that too. And yeah.
Yeah. And their sound check, early in the morning, their sound check, they're smoking joints. I'm like, this is going to be a good show. I know it.
It's going to be a good show.
And it was epic. Yeah. And I love these cannabis music events too. I feel like it brings so much to both. You know, we're merging cultures. I feel like we're all part of the same culture to a degree. But then when we take music on top of it, it's another demographic that can kind of cross in with cannabis. Cannabis is like, it's like food. The people are widespread from all over, enjoying cannabis from every different aspect of life.
Yeah.
Every walk of life, every type of person that likes cannabis, you know, is a little bit different. And so, but we can all agree on one thing, that we love weed.
Yes. And it brings us all together.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, definitely. I know. I really like, have enjoyed music when we do have cannabis events, you know? And I think that if they're selling beer or wine or something like that, they should be selling cannabis too, you know?
I agree.
And like that really needs to change that stigma. And I really hope that that does change. So like even at sports games too, you know, that we can sit there and have like options.
For sure. It should be, I mean, accessibility is so important.
Accessibility is so important. Yes, I agree.
And it's come a long ways. It still has.
It really has.
It totally has. It has a long ways to go.
Yeah, but that's okay. I feel like it's like really, you know, I guess it's like pushing these lines, like to embark, like doing this with like the Dead and Co, you know, to have like the first, like it is people that are pioneering to do all those things. And we need them to do that. And I really appreciate that because like that wouldn't have all happened like that, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. I know it's like big cost. I know it's big money. I don't know if they make their money back, but it's like for the future. So
For
sure. And it's going well. I think that the sales at shows are going well. And
well, the future is they're going to have delivery from wherever you are. You're going to have a little flying object going overhead, delivering stuff from your phone. All right. So, I mean, I think it's pretty wild, the possibilities of, you know, the future AI technology and to be able to help us, you know, it's a blessing and a curse, technology in general.
It definitely is, you know, and I definitely see that too. But we still are super creative. We're super imaginative as human beings. And we will always, you know, like we just got to pivot, make new moves.
When they're already doing drone shows, so drone delivery is not far away where you could, you know, like you don't want to go and lose your spot. You just go on your phone and you order, the drone drops it off. I mean, I'm sure someone's already working on that. Yeah.
I know. I hope so. Let's go.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Space Jam and how that got started.
I started Space Jam and like, it'll be like 13 years. So like 2013 to totally be honest. So like we're about to go on 13 years, I guess. And, yeah, in my home kitchen, actually. Before that, I was like a grower, trimmer, everything in Humboldt. I lived in Humboldt. I was like an indoor grower. Yeah. And I was just like, when the market was like crashing. And so I thought I could like, I was like, okay, I love this industry. How can I still be a part of it? And Space Jam was like it. Little candies, no one, you know, and hash. And I love hash. I love dabs and, you know, it's just like a pain in the butt with like the rig, the torch, all those things, especially back in the day. There was like the nail. I don't think the banger was there yet. So
totally. The original nails, the quartz nail.
The quartz nails. I was like titanium.
There was titanium too.
And the skillet and like the swing, the arm.
The swing. Yeah, I missed those
totally.
Swing. There were so many different ways to do it for sure. You know, and before that it was charcoal.
I know, or like knife hits.
Yeah, for sure. That was the original dab. Was like the we were doing was the knife hits for sure with the tube. Those would wreck your day.
Wreck your day would be amazing.
Well, it would, but they were like, if you weren't used to taking them, it was so harsh on your throat because the material that we were using is so different. Like now dabs are so smooth in comparison.
Definitely. Yeah. Cause we were just like using whatever we could use just to make it. Yeah, I know. And like the way the bubble evolution or just like the oil revolution too, to like see that from where it was and to like where it is now is like pretty incredible too. Yeah. And like the love of hash and like the love of good craft and I feel like people are getting better and better at their crafts.
Better and better. And nicotine really kind of changed the game in so many ways with solventless.
Yeah, so I originally used BHO to totally be honest, because that's what we were all smoking. And Matt Rise and would post like his test results of like the ice water hash, and I was using BHO at the time. And my first event was at the Golden Tarp Awards in Southern Humboldt, basically, and that was like really interesting because I stood in front of my booth, and you have these like Southern Humboldt farmers coming up to you and they're like, well, what do you use? I was like, oh, I use BHO. Well, how do you know that there's nothing in there? Well, there's like the tests say nothing, or I think I purged it out right, you know? And like, they're like, you don't know about that mystery oil. You don't know. Like, you don't know what the doctors don't know. Right. You know, like there can be other chemicals in there. And I was like, oh, gosh, it like really got me, you know? And like, so when Matt Rice started posting his test results and I was seeing that bubble hash could be just as much of a percentage as like BHO, I was like, whoa, I think he like posted a test result of bubble hash at like 72 or 74%. And I was like, dang, this BHO I have is only 69%. And so I was like, dude, I just found a hash maker. I think Don Robb was like actually the first person that made hash for Space Jam and bubble hash, and just learned how to work with it. And it was like definitely a process, definitely different than shatter. I've used rosin too, but that was like, I just love that high. And I felt like it tasted good. And yeah, I like the high the most. And it didn't burn your throat.
Yeah.
Like I felt like BHO sometimes, like it's so spicy or like has like flavors, especially when you cook it. And, you know, when you're cleaning it too, like sometimes you did Everclear and you like cooked it out, you know? And so.
Well, the effect is different with BHO typically.
The effect is totally different. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I like started with like ice water hash, and nicotine was like definitely part of that. I think it's like the education, like you don't even realizing how you're educating people and how you're like transforming people by like showing that.
Yeah. When I first met Nicotine, I sent him a photo, and I'd known of Nicotine for a little bit, friends of friends and stuff like that, but he was calling it solventless, and it was like driving me crazy because I have a textbook from high school that says water, the universal solvent. I'm like, you can't call it solventless. And it really drove me nuts in the beginning, but it's so funny because it's something that stuck. And even though at the time I thought it was an incorrect term, I feel like people can change language, especially over time, you know, and how he was trying to separate himself from what other people were doing, you know, with bubble hash, and really kind of changing the game and paving the way for everybody else who's doing it today.
Yeah, totally. You know, I think that education, because Nicotine was also like, no, like get away from BHO. Like he had like that huge push, you know? I agree. People were blowing themselves up. There were like house fires. There was like people that it's flammable.
It's not safe.
It's not safe. Totally.
Open blasting. Everyone was open blasting.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I thought that was awesome because I also think that the need for concentrates, and that was growing, of like how to smoke them too. And like when the glass blowers were making these pieces, obviously we talked about them, you know, and like, so it's like, then how do you smoke the bubble hash? You know, I know that this guy, Don Robb, like made like this bowl and it had like 3 holes in it. And so then you would like put it down there and you would have like a glass rod, and that's how you would like smoke it.
An atom smasher is what we called them.
Oh, the atom smasher. Okay, cool. I didn't know there's a term for that.
I still have like 5 of them.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I still have the one I had. Yeah. But then like the fact that then they were showing how you can smoke it, you know, I think that the pressing of bubble hash was like always a big pain in the butt. Right. You know, you'd take it and you'd have to press it, and then you'd like do the flags. I hated dabbing people out with BHO. I will say that. Like I was like, that's not my thing to do dabs, like torch, the temperature, and then the pressing. That was like, yes. But yeah, then it went from there, and now it's like rosin, and I am just like all about it. And I think that BHO used to give me headaches when I used to smoke it all the time, and now I don't feel like that anymore from rosin and the solventless revolution. And I think that people need to educate on like what that is, you know? Good job, Nicotine.
Yeah. Do you like bubble hash or rosin more? Because I think
I like rosin more. Yeah, but for my edibles, I only use bubble hash.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have a spectrum as far as, do you use a full spectrum? You typically use food grade combination, or how do you break it down?
I'm like so grateful to like work with Jacob from Have Hash. We've been working together. I think it's for like 7 or 8 years now. Like I think we might even be on 9. I think just like our ages. It's crazy. He's like, you've known me since I was 18, Wendy. So that's like awesome to know. But yeah, just we've been working together so well. And so we use 7DU. And just because of the full melt, and just because I think it's like really important. And obviously I love hash, and I would rather pay just like a little bit more for a better quality product. And, you know, I think that you get that full head too with the 70, and just like you're getting the top of it. And I think with food grade and stuff, it like is like sandy and it doesn't like work that well. And like you can see it in people's like stuff, you know, and doesn't melt down. And also just the taste of it might not be the best sometimes too.
Yours are super terpy.
Oh, you think they're terpy? That's awesome.
Yeah, good. I like the flavor of yours for sure.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we do use like fruit for the flavors too, but I do think that you can taste the hash. Yeah. Because I think good hash tastes good.
You want to taste good hash. I mean, I love Whitethorn Rose is my favorite. You know, I love the flavor of Whitethorn Rose by itself.
Yes.
You know, I could eat that flavor ice cream. Like literally, I love it that much.
Man, I'm like so happy to hear that, you know, because you can tell with Whitethorn Rose, like when you smoke a joint or something, you're like, what is that? That's Whitethorn Rose. You're like, you know it too. Like it's just like in your head, you
instantly.
know? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there's a handful of genetics out there that are like that, where it's like, dude, I could totally eat that with dessert. I could have that, and then there's some that are, I like some of the offensive stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love OG. I love offensive,
totally.
nose burning, chem, Green Shock Farms. Shout out to Mark. He does like the most offensive nose burning. I love that too. But there's definitely a place in my heart for all those like candy and sweet and complex dessert kind of strains. I think there's a lot of fun there.
Yes, definitely. I know I have like my half hash pen and it's these Skittles right now. So like, I don't think you can ever get enough of it, No,
for sure. Definitely. If you don't like Skittles, it's one of those things. Like if you don't like Skittles, I don't, each to their own. But like, in my opinion, Skittles is one of the best flavors out there. And, so often people are trying to breed to get that expression and they come up with diet Skittles.
Yes, that's totally true.
Yeah. And I don't like diet Skittles. I want the real thing. I'd much rather just smoke the original.
Yeah, I know. And then, like seeing the original, like just smoking it when it started and it started to have the fame and everything, like you just like don't forget it, like definitely. Yeah, I know. I'm like, man, I get excited about like the fruity. I like gassy and stuffs too, but it's not like something in my nose. Like I love OGs, like it's one of my favorite, but I can like pick that out. But like the Chem Dog and stuff, sometimes it's just so fuel-y sometimes,
Yeah, see, GMO is too fuel-y for me by itself. Like, there's nothing wrong with GMO. It's so, and there was a time where I loved GMO. Marlon Asher and I used to smoke GMO nonstop. And we went through a phase, and he even continued on until like 2018, 19. He just loved GMO, couldn't get enough of it. And it's like, it's offensive, and it's to the point where like, I like some of the crosses with it. I like the burgers, some of the burgers, like the Donny Burger, especially the Donny Burger rosin.
Oh, nice. I'm going to have to try that.
It's so good.
See, when like strains make good rosin, there's certain strains like that actually make good bubble hash or concentrate, you know? That's awesome. I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah. And there's so many directions you can go with genetics too. It's pretty wild.
I know, just to think of like just a little seed, like, just like all the planting and then picking that and then pollinating it. And I just am like in awe of like how much research, how much data collecting that is too.
A lot of times when I look at something new, I wonder what it went to get to there, how much money was spent. Because a lot of times, some people get lucky with stuff, but like guys that are doing real breeding and putting in the work, it costs a lot of money to create something new,
Yes, it totally does. Yes. I just like looking at all these seeds like right here, like how many like new beginnings are these? And
these are all the throwaways. These are the ones that didn't make the cut that we use for display.
Is that because like they're white and like they're not fully like mature seeds?
Right. Or they're cracked seeds.
Or they're cracked seeds.
There's some that are cracked seeds in there. There's some that are disformed. There's some that are white or like off color that just didn't make the cut. And so those go in the studio. Oh
my God, that's really cool. Wow.
But yeah, so this is probably like less than 15% of the seeds. So 80, if you could imagine 85% more.
Oh my God, that's like probably a wall.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I believe that it's a good thing to make seeds, and I believe it's something that can change the world for the better. I feel like people that make seeds are making the world a better place. And so that's what gets me excited about making seeds too, is like, okay, we're making a difference on some level. You start making 10 or 20 million seeds, you're having some sort of positive impact.
Yes, definitely, because people are growing those, you know? And even like when at the Grateful Dead show, like a lady was like, I'm going to get my penny seeds. Like, I'm excited. I'm going to grow it in my yard, you know? And like, just like the starting life and getting people like into weed and like growing their own and seeing what it takes to grow like from seed too. Like sometimes I see what people are doing and I was like, what, where's the paper towel? Like, like, are you cracking that right? Or people just think they can just put in a plant, and so many different things with growing and so many like little nuances you have to like get used to.
Well, and there's so many different ways to do it. There's no wrong. Well, there's lots of wrong ways, but there's no exact one right way. Otherwise, we'd only do it that way.
Yes.
And then there's the living soil versus cocoa versus rock wool.
I know, that's like a whole thing too, because when I grew indoors, I grew like in dirt basically, and like always reclaiming the dirt, like, now it's like a really interesting thing. And then the rock wool and like the hydroponics and stuff,
Yeah, and there's arguments to be had over which one's better and which one's worse. And, I feel like at the end of the day, it's so much more about the cultivator than it is about the substrate. And, the love and energy that you put into the plant has a lot to do with that person and what they've done for that plant rather than just the substrate, just the nutrient line or whatever, these inputs that they're feeding it. There's so many more things to it.
Oh my God. So you don't think there's like salt weed or like donut weed, like some weed that just doesn't smell at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's because they didn't put enough energy into it themselves. I feel like there can be good Rockwell wheat. There can be good salt. I think Synganic is the way to go a lot of times. And I don't think there's one right way. And that, I don't hate on anybody for growing certain ways. I don't like smoking stuff that doesn't taste good though. I don't like smoking cardboard terps.
No, I do not like smoking cardboard terps.
No, and it's like, there's a lot of people that are okay with that, but I'm looking for those terps that pop, that are amazing, that want to make me smoke more.
I know, and make your mouth water like a little bit and like give like a little adventure. I know, I don't mean to be like so stuck up sometimes about cannabis, but just because from being a grower before, like I just know and I like see stuff and I'm like, no, I won't. No, sorry. Like, let me smell that. I just can't do it.
Yeah, and some of these nutrient lines have a specific smell to them. You could tell the weed was grown by that specific line of nutrients, and it has that specific smell. And I'm like, I just can't do it and then they have 5 different strains, and they all smell kind of the same. They all look amazing, but they all smell the same. I'm just not into that. I want them to each have their own unique and individual personality. I think that's what it's all about.
Yes, sometimes it is about mixing the different nutrient lines to like find like what works best, like,
right, how to optimize the plant.
Definitely, you just can't just go with one nutrient line and be like, okay, this is all how all this plant's going to grow and all one strain and multiple. You got to treat
each cultivar differently. I feel like you got to respect each one, and some things need more nitrogen, some things, some cultivars need less. I feel like, and it's all dependent on the environment too. And if you're going with soil, you have to have good soil. And, I've had really bad living soil and I've had really, really amazing living soil.
Yeah, I think that soil is like a big part, just being in Humboldt and seeing the soil companies start up there. Some of them start, just listening to what they've went through, like when they've had bugs and even in their soil, and you would always get like fresh soil and be like, oh my God, how do I have these aphids or these fruit flies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So soil is like a really big key in all of it also. Or sometimes it's not fully mixed, like it can be too hot and they didn't like mix that batch good enough,
Right. That's when you're buying soil from other people. You just never know. You have to trust your source. I'm good friends with Brian from Vital. As far as for
Vital.
living soil, I love Vital. Yeah, I mean, there's several good seed companies out there. Right? No, sorry. There's several good soil companies out there.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, that's the problem. That's why we don't have any soil at the facility here, is because I don't want to bring in bugs. So
that's a totally good point. Yeah.
We try to be as sterile as possible. You're only as good as your last clone or last seed. So you really have to be aware of what you're bringing into your facility. If we give somebody some sort of pathogen or some sort of pest, that just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like being in Humboldt and just going through that. And like, I've definitely given people pests and I did not mean to. And you just didn't know, especially like as like clones are little, sometimes, it happens, different things happen and you just feel horrible. Like you just absolutely feel horrible. Like, because it's like a whole big thing. When you get the pest, you have to clean out the room. The whole, like, it's like basically your next like week is just, how do I get rid of this? How do I start over? How do I scrap it? People got to learn. You just got to scrap your garden. Like if it has those bugs, like don't move forward. Just scrap it and then rebuild. Like after that, like so many people are like attached to the money or, don't like the outcome because you don't even know that outcome yet because like you haven't even like harvested it yet,
Right.
But yeah.
Well, you can go past the point of no return and then you can struggle all the way and then you end up with, popcorn kush.
Oh my God, I know. Or like people are like smoking and there's popping mites.
Yeah, I mean, or spraying stuff on there that people are going to have to smoke. It's
God, yes.
So bad.
I know. Some of those strains just back in the day were so powdery mildew, like those purple ones, especially growing in Humboldt and just like that corner plant, you're always like super like watching and stuff,
For sure. Well, and some plants are more susceptible than others. Some plants can handle a little bit of thrips. Other plants, pest pressure for more terps.
I know. I mean, what is the best like method just for seed? Obviously, because you have to have that seed. Like when you are growing, like that plant has to be super healthy because that will go down to the seed. Is that correct? I don't know. I just thought that.
Well, with breeding, I mean, some people you can spray your plants with different stuff. So like if you do have pests, and you're making seeds, you're doing seed production, you still want optimal health because that's going to give you the best quality seed.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
But that doesn't mean that you can't use organic sprays on it because no one's going to be smoking that weed, right?
Yeah.
We don't smoke the weed from we made hash from it before, but typically we don't spray either. And I run nitrogen, but I run nitrogen heavy and I don't flush. So if we are making hash or smoking it, it's flour that's never been flushed. And I don't use a water flush either when we do it, but it basically stays high nitrogen all the way till the end. So the only thing you'd want to do is probably make some sort of hash with it, really.
Oh my God, I'm pretty blown away by that. I have had hash. I have had hash that was made from like seed plants. So that is true. And no, I have not smoked the flour. Wow, that's wild. I never even put that together, but high nitrogen all the way through, no flush. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, and then
our
our seed cleaner is forced air. So we put it in this thresher and basically it churns the weed and basically the stems go out one side, the seeds go out another because it basically forces them through these holes. And so the biomass that's coming out actually gets recaptured in a vacuum.
Oh my God,
right?
no
and
way.
So, but like you're not getting regular biomass. You're actually separating it all and it's pretty wild.
Oh my God, the technology these days, we used to be like counting seeds or like squish them out of the bud or like pull it like this,
rubbing them on a trim bin.
On a trim bin. Yeah. Like look at all this high tech like technology now.
Well, yeah, we can do like literally our thresher will clean 20 million a day. Like if it was one cultivar, you just keep on feeding it in, you could easily get through about 20 million seeds in one day.
Oh my God, that is wild.
It's so different, because we used to do it by hand too. And like literally we'd use screen doors and rub the material on the screen and then put the plant material, the seeds would roll down and the rest, and it would just take forever to clean like a harvest, especially outdoor because we were getting a lot of seeds back then.
Dude, good for you for like going through all of that to get to that point of the machine of like 20 million a day. Like that had to be like.
We've had 5 machines to get to that point though. I mean, it's pretty wild. All the different generations of machines and trying stuff out and then learning how to use a machine that can work like that. It could also crack and damage your seeds. So you have to be really careful on how to use it correctly.
But then what do you do with the A and B seeds? Like how do you?
So then we go through and we have another sorter that basically uses forced air to pull out really light seeds. Like it'll pull out some of the light seeds with the thresher, but then the actual seed cleaner goes in. There's a hopper, it drops to the hopper, and then you can adjust the aperture on it to pull more air or less air. And so if you have it pulling a bunch of air, any white seed or light seed that's not going to germinate gets pulled out. And so then you're left with quality seeds.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. Technology these days, especially for cannabis, because we're all like, how is this going to work for cannabis? We're different. And yeah, I love the technology company.
Yeah, I had a zigzag machine that was made and we've had all kinds of different stuff and it's wild. And they even have a really expensive machine that basically it's a seed sorter that'll sort by color. And so it has a little camera that identifies the color of it and you can set the threshold on the different colors and it'll separate them by color so you have matching color. Because we try to give people similar size, like shape and color seeds. So we do it by hand right now, but there's a $300,000 machine that does it for you if you want to invest in it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Wild. How,
yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. Like how long are you doing this?
Since 90. So I've been smoking weed since 91. Growing plants since the mid 90s, breeding since the early to mid 2000s. And so, seed company, we were established with a real legitimate license in 2012 in Amsterdam and in Spain. And then that company, I'm in a lawsuit with that. But love the lawsuits.
Oh my God, I went through one, so I totally understand. I'm out.
It's the worst. I do not like lawsuits.
I do not like them either. I feel like I'm free right now, so like I understand like what it's like to not. But like you have to do them. They're there for a reason. Yeah, they're part of business. It doesn't feel good though.
It's part of growing up.
It's part of growing up. Oh my God.
Unfortunately, it's part of growing up. Is lawsuits like and I feel like it's just part of business and. I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be taken advantage of. And when it comes down to it, we're going to fight and we're going to fight in court.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But, I had to do that too. And My lawsuit ended on December 11th, which was my birthday. I did mediation just to get over it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't get really anything of it, but the person had to move out of the building, which I was super grateful for. And I got my life back. I got freedom.
You know who wins in lawsuits?
The lawyers.
The lawyers.
I know.
Every time the lawyers end up winning.
Yeah, I don't think the lawyers ended up winning. I do think in the end, I ended up winning. I think that just freedom. I think freedom and the ability to be able to grow and not have something breathing down your neck, because it just takes a lot out of you. And but yeah, I'm so happy I did it. I think I didn't want to do it forever. Just to make that call to call a lawyer to do all those things are not easy steps either. They take a lot of guts.
Well, it costs money.
And it costs money.
It costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money for litigation. It costs money for all those things. And I'm not as cutthroat of a person as my lawyers are. So luckily we have good lawyers and they're super cutthroat. But yeah.
I know.
Good times.
Good times. We can all get along.
Yeah. So were you born in Humboldt?
I was actually born in the south side of Chicago, south side of Chicago. Yeah, totally growing up. And I moved to Humboldt because people were moving to California and I was like, oh, I want to go. And I got to go and I got introduced to 40 Grateful Dead family people and
nice.
Just the culture up there, and people had families and it was so freedom and growing the plant. And I was like, I would way rather do this than live in Chicago.
The Dead Tour has brought a ton of Chicago people.
Yes.
To California.
Yes.
I have a bunch of friends that originated in Chicago, and thanks to Dead Tour and everything else, they're here, or they were here and some have moved away, but a lot of people from Chicago. I think the weather's a little better here.
I think the weather is better here, and just the freedom.
Yeah.
Of who's going to get you in trouble here.
Right.
Especially up there, there's barely any cops. When I first moved there, moved to a town called McKinleyville, and there was only one sheriff when I first moved there. So
wow.
Just there's CHP, but that's different, And
camp and CHP.
Oh my God, camp and CHP. But I was I always was in northern Humboldt.
Yeah.
Didn't spend that much time in southern Humboldt as much.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the guys from Humboldt Seeds, Humboldt Seed Company and Organization, two separate companies.
I know. I was how are you going to say this?
I like both groups. I'm friends with, I try to be friends with everybody.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
I'm not friends with everybody, but I try to be friends with everybody.
Yes, I totally. If you're doing good, yes, definitely. Not even if you're doing good, but if you're a good person,
If you're a good person.
Yeah, if you're a good person.
And there's lots of good people in Humboldt. I love Northern Humboldt. I've had really great experiences there. It's beautiful driving up there.
Yeah, I feel so. It's magical. Fairies and gnomes live there, and magic happens. Totally. And I like the fact that the freedom. I know I keep saying that word. What is up with that? But yeah, it's definitely just be who you are, be a weirdo, and growing cannabis for so long and what people did with their time is really interesting, over those years, because obviously it's changed so much. And, there's just a wealth of knowledge up there. And, I feel what I learned about growing in that community was how we root for each other,
yeah.
Oh, we want your harvest to go good. And look at this, you grew this, dude, no way, let's weigh it,
totally.
The excitement of those things,
For sure.
I love that.
Well, and it's so cannabis centric, the whole community. And it's Humboldt is also suffering the most out of, the Emerald Triangle in general.
Yeah.
But as far as legacy farmers that kind of help build it up, it's man, it's not going well in Humboldt, unfortunately.
I think, things that I would really like to say, and I know people are the legacy farmers aren't doing well and everything. I just really as I go out on my adventures with Space Jam and stuff, I just see we have so much knowledge that people don't even realize that we have. And we don't even realize that we have, about quality control, about how we do little things, how we navigate problems that we all, because we really did have a network of people. If you had something, you could call your friend and be hey, I have this happening, what should I do? And some people had books and, everyone was willing to help and they got really into it because that was all of our jobs. Yeah. It was we all worked and were friends friends together, you know,
Right.
and like you also learned in that how to work with your friends, not against your friends, you know, and like that was like what was really cool too. And you know, root for each other and get excited and see people take that leap of faith from like a 6 light to a 24 light, you know, and like
to a 50 light, now to 1,000 light.
Yeah. Also to like be like, oh my God, we did that and the room got too hot, or like all the problems that happened with it, you know, the build out wasn't right, you know, like, yeah.
So I feel like, you know, it was very community based back in the day. And I feel like with commercialization, we've kind of gone away from that. But I feel like there's this renaissance that's going to happen where we're going to go back to community with the products, with Humboldt especially, but even in the Bay, like people that are good brands sticking together, good people sticking together and figuring out how to make it work for everybody.
Yeah, I think it like I just went to the HCGA like Thanksgiving thing and it was really interesting to see how. So when they first started, it was like 450 farms.
Wow.
You know, and I think that there's like 10 of them, like 10 farms. Like there was not that many. I think that the people that made it have pivoted, and we're all like, I think people are so attached to like those high ticket numbers for pounds of weed, you know, that they couldn't swallow it and just realize that they might take a lower number, but they have a future with like shops, you know, like what Soulful does and stuff, and how like awesome that is for farmers and how important it is, and how it's like you're just basically like we have to remember like to support our families, you know, and like there was like definitely like a heyday, but that's okay, you know, like it can come again. It's just like the gold rush. It just, you know, ebbs and flows and stuff, you know, and but yeah, I think the knowledge and like what people are producing out there is just like top notch, and it's just so incredible.
Yeah, there's people producing fire.
There's people producing fire. I guess the white thorn rose is coming, you know, like the genetics of that too, you know?
Totally. And I mean, like Reggie, Cannon Country, he's doing some amazing work. There's so many good growers out there and breeders as well. And I feel like I'm going to Terpnomy, and that's in a couple weeks.
Oh my God, where is that at? Is
San Francisco.
That's with David Downs. Yeah,
it's with David Downs, and it's like this. I think there's over 40 different breeders, and it's all like some of people that I think are some of the best breeders in the world, right? And so they're coming out of the hills with this incredible fire, and it's like not what you're going to see at MJ Biz, not what you're going to see at Spanibus or Mary Jane or any other event. It's like this stuff that's special, and we're talking about a lot of like longer flowering varieties. Hazes that you're not normally going to see. You won't see those in shops typically.
No.
But even some of the fuely stuff that's different. Mark from Green Chalk is coming with the gas. Right. And then I'll have chocolate runts there for sure. We're going to have some chocolate runts and, you know, some special stuff, but it's all unique. And I feel like with these breeders, everyone has their own personality, and their seeds kind of reflect the personality of the breeder. And especially the guys that are well established, have been doing this a long time. They go in a specific lane, most of them. And it's like, you can tell the flower, and you know, everyone's bringing down flower too, especially outdoor because it's freshly harvested.
Yes,
and it's still at that special stage where like by January or February, it's past its prime typically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Where most people don't get to experience that fresh outdoor. I would say that most of the world has never got to experience that true killer outdoor. Most people have experienced outdoor on some level. They don't think it's as good as indoor, but my opinion is that it's just as good, if not better, a lot of times in indoor when it's grown at the top level.
Yes, definitely. I like totally, well, the indoor outdoor thing. I'm like, yes, I think fresh sun grown, you know, when it's fresh, like those big nugs that they pull off, like that, the first ones, yes, like people have never seen things like that, you know, and like it's sticky, it smokes so good, and you get the flavor, and it like lasts, you know. I think like with sun grown, probably why people have that perception is just because of the storage of it, you know, it's just like, and then how long it takes, you know, just for the storage, and then the whole process of it, because you have to trim it, and Well,
if you're buying a dispensary, you don't know how old it is, but like if you know the source and you're getting it fresh, it's like we're talking about stuff that'll stick to the window. You can like, we used to thumb bud to the window to see how,
oh my God, yes,
if it would stick, and a lot of this stuff will do that.
Oh, definitely. No, you are getting the growers top best nugs, like their head stash. You get to see that. That's what's up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love seeing weed. I love it. Yeah, I even saw a lot of farmers actually said they did really, really well. That was like what was awesome to see at the HCGA meeting. Like they're like, no, dude, we freaking crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
It was a good year. There wasn't a fire, and like, yeah. I was like, yes. They're like, no, we had the perfect property for it. I was like, let's go, dude. Humboldt.
The worst is the smoky weed. When you harvest it and it's smoky, I feel so bad, because some of the best stuff I've seen years where it was like the fires just ruined weed. Sonoma County one year, it was like my buddy was harvesting stuff and it was just smoky smelling. And
yeah, I definitely like experienced that. I was like, what do you mean? It like still smells like smoke. And it was like just straight campfire. And I was
campfire
like, dude, I was like, that is just horrible. And people just, I just wonder, a lot of farms like try to sell their weed like that, and I just don't know, like in the end, like, should you just hold that crop and not sell that crop and then just work on the next year? You know what I mean?
Biomass extraction. I mean, that's the beauty of today's market versus 30 years ago or 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. We can remediate stuff. We can basically turn it into THCA, crystalline THCA, which is another hot subject.
That is a hot subject. THCA,
what's your opinion on THCA and the federal ban that's going into effect 360 days from now?
Oh my God, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It definitely is like wild. And I guess like this is my thoughts on it. I am not here. I'm from the traditional market, so I'm not going to say like this or that, but I'm definitely going to say that I think that there's some bad actors in the space that are definitely like creating it. And just for edibles, I have like a whole different opinion on it. But I mean, access to weed, you know what I mean? Like I want people to have that rather than prescription pills like any day. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to say like, this is the law and this is not, like, that's not my place to say.
Yeah. We're not politicians.
I'm not. And I also want people like, I mean, I started in the traditional market, so I'm not going to like, it's just a different one. But like I don't want people eating edibles that are not good, and I don't want people getting sick. And I think the other part about it is like also buying cannabinoids off of the, things like, and messing up my market of like, edibles, but
you have to spend money on testing, right? And it's crazy.
So much money on testing.
But the people in THCA, they're just sending stuff out, and it's very unregulated, and that needs to change, right? I'm not big on oversight with the government typically, but for testing, I think if they're going to do it in rec, they need to do it across the board.
Yeah, like you're smoking Eagle 20. Dude,
it's bad.
It's
like
really if you're
bad.
smoking,
Avid.
Avid, like those are like, like we should not be smoking that stuff, and like there's no regulation on that. And there's like, they don't even need that, they can just grow whatever and just sell it. Like, that's not what I'm about,
Right.
Yeah. And I think that, I guess to elevate just in general was Space Jam, to like, to make edibles, to go through the testing process. I went through the testing process in the very early days. So like I was ready for like legalization and stuff,
Totally.
But I want this plant. I want it to succeed. I want everyone to be able to smoke it. It's very, very important to me. But I also think that there's a safety because there's bad actors in it and people aren't. Yeah. And the edible thing is like a whole other thing that, like people saying that they need 1,000 milligrams, like it just messes up people's mentality. And like, what are you doing to those people having them 1,000 milligrams,
Well, and I would say that most people that buy something that says 1,000 milligrams are getting 200 milligrams, 100 milligrams. They're not getting accurate doses, right? So like, that's the other bullshit that goes on.
Yes.
Is there's packaging that says this and it's not matching the product that's in the bag all the time.
Yeah. And so then when we're like the legal market, like doing everything right, like people are like, I wish you could have it this way. I'm like, you don't need that many. You eat like a flying saucer in front of me, like 100 milligrams. Let me see how you are. You know what I mean? Like your vision is blurry. You are definitely floating. You're like working some chakra shit out, you know?
And some people have a high tolerance. Some people, edibles don't even work on them. Right. But I know that's like what 1%. People say, but I like wonder about that. I do like agree with some of it, but I also am like wondering, is it a distillate edible? Like what kind of edibles are like, no, it's like, we all know the Kurova bars. Like we'll all say those 1,000 milligram Kurova bars. Yeah. Like we all have a story about them. But then what about like, I mean, people have stories about Space Gems that are pretty wild too, I mean, I have personal stories about Space Gems too. So,
Yeah, I just don't think people need that much of a milligrams. I do understand pain tolerance. I do understand those other things. I understand your liver. But people are like getting edibles and like, what's that? I'm like, you're like the THCA crystallized stuff, but I'm like, there's like other stuff people are making that, or like the nanotechnology is like not bypassing the liver and like, just goes to the bloodstream. So it's just like smoking. This guy was like, no, man, like the edibles have to go through your liver to create its own 11-hydroxy. Like we need this. This is very important for like the edible high. If that's what you're looking. He's like, I don't want the edible high. They just want the smoker's high. I'm like, then just go fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Like you don't need edibles then. You don't need the stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so people were worried about the law that got the bill that got passed through Congress affecting seeds and clones. And it's basically on consumables. I don't think it's going to affect seeds and clones the way some people are trying to interpret it to. We'll have to see. The law can still get rewritten. It can still go back to Congress and changed.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in Kentucky lobbying for change. I think regardless, there needs to be something done on the testing side. And, we don't want to put poison in people's bodies. This plant is supposed to make the world a better place.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Right. And the second you start putting Avid or Eagle 20 or any of these, pesticides or harmful chemicals, you're doing the exact opposite of what we're trying to do, which is make the world a better place.
Which make the world a better place. And it's crazy because I know that people like from Humboldt have jobs like consulting, because I always like thought like when the hemp ban, I was like, what about the farms in Kentucky and Tennessee? And like, they're huge. And like, I see farms all over, especially Humboldt Seed Organization, Holly. And I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? But it's a lot of THCA stuff, and like the hemp stuff. And yeah, the plant is an amazing plant and it has amazing gifts. And I'm not here to say like this or that for it, I'm not here to dictate its future, but it's going to be really, really interesting. And it is like such a fine line too, because we do know that there's bad actors, but there's also bad actors in the legal market too.
100%. Some of them are the same people.
Yeah. So that's what's like even wilder, and I never joined the bandwagon of the THCA. A lot of people said, but I was just like, I'm just staying in my lane. And this is where I get my vision board. That's where it was, to like, go over there and to also have like, what is it, like whiplash emotionally, like with it's going to work, it's not going to work. And just the whole laws and how it got passed and what everybody's saying. It's like, I don't think it can start with the seeds. The seeds are like, just like the beginning of life, Well,
the problem is you'd have to grow a seed out. And then it's like, okay, so depending on when you harvest it, there's so many things where it's like, okay, so THCA, they're not going to be able to enforce it, right? So that's the thing too.
I'm so happy you just said this actually, because I saw a post where they're like the seeds and they said that there's a certain amount of THC in the seeds. And I was so lost. I was like, can you test your seeds to see how much THC?
I can show you COA after COA that we have zero. It's non-detect. Right?
That's what I thought. Oh my God. I was like, what are they even talking about? So yeah, that wouldn't even.
No, I have 100 COAs in the next room that all say non-detect for THC. They do not have THC or CBD or cannabinoids, right?
Oh my God. But it has THCA in it? Or no, just other cannabinoids.
No, it doesn't have any cannabinoids as a seed. But the second you germinate it, once you grow the plant out a little bit, you can test it out for ratios, right? Yeah. And then we can determine what chemotype, if it's, like there's ways to tell if it's a type 1, type 2, or type 3, like high THC, a 1-to-1, or a CBD cultivar from a small plant. But the thing is like with clones, I don't even think clones are going to, they're going to stay as hemp because we need them, for one thing, we need them to breed new flavors.
Yes.
Right? And the other thing, so I think from a breeding perspective, you should be allowed to do it. We'll see what happens. It's going to be really interesting over the next 360 days to see what happens, the cannibalism that's going to go on within the industry and also politicians.
Yeah, definitely. People are like, my grandmother's salve. And now I'm happy about the seeds. Like, I was like thinking about that. I was like, it's going to be interesting to go on James Loud's podcast, like with this. It's also, I was like, what is it going to be like in Vegas? Like that's going to be big. Cause a lot of people are saying with the Champ show and stuff like that. But just MJ BizCon, I
only do MJ Biz in Vegas once a year. That's all I can handle. I get my Vegas in for like, I'm going Tuesday through Friday. And then I'm coming to Terpnami for 2 days. And so it's going to be a busy week, like literally it'll be practically be 7 days with travel, right? So I love Vegas. Vegas is a lot of fun, but I can't do it more than one time a year. This year is going to be special. I think a lot of people are suffering in the industry right now. So people are like, oh, it's not going to be as good of an MJ. A lot of times I feel like it's going to be the opposite because the people in Vegas are ready to do business. They're ready to do work. They're ready to work hard. You know, people that are around right now are hustlers. They're people that are successful because they've worked hard, because they have a good product, because they're ready to work and they're showing up ready to work. There's not going to be as many tire kickers.
No, I don't. I know people are excited. I'm like super excited. I'm going to be actually last year in Vegas, I got a new packaging because I needed to change my packaging. And so I found them last year. And then this year they invited me and I can like go sit at their booth and stuff and like go be a part of the actual convention, which I've never actually been a part of other than just like a participant of it. So, I guess, I don't know what that is, a consumer of it, you know? So to walk around. So I am like super excited to work the event actually and do the parties. And it's like, I'm definitely going to not be at the Chandelier Bar till 4 a.m. again, but I'll have like cutoffs because I have to work in the morning, and like the MJ, like I'm super excited about this year because I did enter the MJ Bowl.
Nice.
So we entered our sour space drops, and I did not enter. Like I didn't enter CannaFest because I just got all in my head when we didn't place at the state fair. But I feel like it was a lot of learning things and just like self-reflecting and. Now I'm like super excited for the MJ Bowl, and I think his name is Scott from Humboldt Family Farms. They're doing this thing with the Battle of the Brands. Yeah. And so he did Space Jam for the Battle of the Brands. So it's basically him and Guy Rorick, the Buddhist. I'm like Guy. I feel like I call him Guy, but he went against him, so they're going to do that at the end there too.
Nice.
Yes. I got to see it.
I got a party on Wednesday.
And you got a party on Wednesday.
We're doing with the Connect community, with Sergio and the Connect community, the Battle Royale. We're doing the Laudo Makase, so we're doing the food. I'm doing the food. I'm chefing it up. Jack Grover is going to help me cook. We got a chef, my really good friend Ricky, who's a chef at the Win. He's going to be helping. So we're about to put on this amazing spread, and Roll Pros is going to be there rolling up all the entries. So
what entries for your
for the Battle Royale? So
the Battle Royale.
So they're going to be testing them. They'll have joints. They're going to be handing out all the entries at the event. It's 10 minutes off the strip. You're definitely going to have to go.
Oh my God, that's awesome. You do that every year. Is that right?
This is the second year we're doing it.
Yeah, you did it last year. I remember it last year. Okay, cool. Yes, that's awesome.
Yep.
Oh my God. So people are going to be smoking joints.
All kinds of good candy and terps. People, it's going to be fun and amazing. And then Thursday, I speak on a panel at the Grodan panel on Thursday. I believe it's at 4:20. So that should be good.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm super excited. I think that I did see you speak last time. I think the panels for people are like really important, especially like I feel like we should all be speaking at them, especially people who have like been successful in the business, or made their path.
100%. I think if you've been successful, it's your duty to share that with other people. I
totally agree.
I think it's an obligation that we all have to pass it down, or at least pass down what not to do. There's so many things you can share. It's like, as a business owner, it's like learning how to fail, I think is so important. It's like, and accepting failure as not the end, but as something you learn from.
Yeah.
So especially in this industry, you can fail a lot. And the thing is if you're stubborn, you can just keep getting up.
Yes, you are. I know. Tenacity, I guess, just keep waking up and all right, let's go figure it out.
Totally. And not everybody's built like that. Some people just want to give up, and some people, I can appreciate the struggle. I'm in the struggle right now.
And you're still showing up.
Yeah, I'm still showing up. I still love this. I still love being here. And until I quit loving being here, I'm going to show up every day. And then when that ends and I'll do something else. But I love this. I absolutely love being here. I love doing these podcasts. I love going to Vegas and hanging out with my friends at the Chandelier Bar. So yeah, I have a group of friends, Jason Hutto, Michael Leone, and Matt Siegel when he goes, which isn't very often, but like we've spent some really good times there, and we end up at the Chandelier Bar partying until I don't know how late, but really, really late. And I have really good memories of Vegas,
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like the connections you build there too.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of like we're all like, oh, we're in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
All excited and stuff. And people from all over, like, I can't believe how big cannabis is either, too. You know, like how many different people come from the different states and you're learning what's going on and the parties and
different
stuff.
walks of life.
Different walks of life.
Yeah. I mean, you get everybody. And MJ is kind of cool because you get a lot of variety of people too, like literally every walk of life.
Yeah, totally.
So in this scene.
I know. And I feel like it's so important just like for me being from Humboldt and just a craft producer, like, no, we are here. We're still playing in this market and you're not going to like bully us away, you know? And like, I'm going to like, I love this plant so much that I'm going to respect it and keep it to like its highest integrity it can. Yeah. And I speak for the women too, you know? So that's like another thing too.
Nice.
Like, no, like, let's go women. Like, let's go. Like, can do this as like, we can make things happen.
Oh, I'm giving high fives to all the women. And you have to. I mean, you got to be supportive of everybody. And I feel like women have struggled in this industry, but there are women that are, you know, that are bosses out there that are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, definitely. I'm like trying my best and trying to, you know, like I realize that I'm a role model for people or like, you know, and I don't think I am at all, but you know, like definitely I want people to know that they can do what I can do and keep that like
and be a successful business owner in a male dominated industry that, you know, regardless, it's like the women that are in the industry that are business owners, you know, my friend Autumn from Cultivo, Autumn Kersey, she's a great example of somebody who I feel like she's tough as nails and she doesn't take no for an answer if she wants yes.
Yep.
And we need more. And there's a lot of people like that, but especially women now, it's like, you got to be a little bit tougher than the average person.
You do.
So, and you got to be a little cutthroat at times.
I don't think it's a cutthroat. I just think like sometimes it's not the right time and that's okay. You don't have to force it. You know,
I agree with life, everything. You don't have to force stuff that's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, you know, you can go in different directions.
Yeah. And I think just having a product that speaks for itself and you can be like, okay, that's cool. And just drop on some Space Gems. And then
that's the best
thing, you know, then they're like calling you, you know, DMing you and you're like, oh my God, that was like so incredible. I'm so sorry. You know, like I didn't really realize, I don't think people like really realize like, you know, that Space Gem is me sometimes, you know, like they don't realize that, like put that together. They think like a man's behind me or something, you know, and like, that's not true. Like these are all like things from my imagination of like, oh, maybe I can do this. Like maybe people suggest it, but definitely like, how can I make this better? How can I do this? You know, like, yeah, like that's like me getting high and like having thoughts.
Well, I love the logo. So like your logo, let's talk about your logo for a little bit. Cause I love it. I love the retro vibe, the retro feel.
Go.
Came from Gem.
I know. This is take me to your gem dealer.
Yep.
This is Jason Brandy from Humboldt Republic. He made this design or whatever. This is like our first drop of clothing ever. So that was like super cool. We launched it at PuffCon like the first time, which I was like, it was my first PuffCon and I'm definitely going back and I love them. So thank you, Kevin.
Nice.
Yes, that was like an amazing event.
I missed it. I was at a wedding that was absolutely amazing. So
I can understand.
But yeah, I can't wait. PuffCon sounded great. All my friends had an amazing time. The best show I went to this year was the network show.
I know, and I can't believe I didn't go because I was going to PuffCon right after Hall of Flowers and I just didn't have it in me. It
was by far the best industry show that I've been to. They're doing another one in May. It's not the network show. That has another name.
The supply chain.
It's the supply chain show. Mm-hmm. You know, I did a panel at the network show and the other guys that did panels, they get to pick their guests. They asked me if I'd do a panel with their guests and it was just, the panel was amazing. They're airing it so people can watch it, but it's like the guys that did the network show did it right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the venue. I love everything about it. And I just, it left me leaving with like a great feeling about like taking the time out of my life to go down there. Cause it's like, I'm up here. Going down there is a journey.
Yep, definitely. I know they do it so right. I went last year right before and I'm just like so happy that they killed it. I'm like so that I'm in awe of them. And everyone says that they did so good too. Yeah. And, you know, just for us, like, I think it's also like a moment of like, we might not even be able to keep up if we would have went. So like, I think that because we did miss out on it, I definitely had FOMO. I was super stressed that whole week. I did cry about it a few times, But then also coming back and realizing, okay, Wendy, this is where we are. We'll get there next year. Like that's like just having that little voice in my head for sure.
Well, it's those kind of shows that make you fall in love with shows again. I'm a High Times guy. I love the High Times expos.
Totally.
The Amsterdam ones. I have an Amsterdam cup that I won in 2012.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something nostalgic about Amsterdam and about cannabis cups. And then even the American cups, I went to a bunch of them. I have a lot of friends that I'm still friends with. Besco from Silica Glass, we did booths together. We had an amazing time. But a lot of the shows, I'm just like, it just feels like work, or it just feels like this, or just feel like that. I want to fall in love with shows again. And it takes things like the network show to really do that. Mary Jane is another one. I mean, I was like so happy. Mary Jane Germany was nuts.
Oh my God. I heard 51,000 people came.
I think even more.
Oh my God. That is so incredible. I want to go this next year. I have to. Yes, definitely. I feel like just seeing cannabis on that level of international is like, yes.
Yeah, it's so wild seeing so many people that all love weed.
Oh my God.
And it's like all in one place. And it's very like, it feels like the cannabis cups it feels like a combination of the cannabis cups back in the early US cup days. It feels like that with Spanibus and MJ Biz all under one roof.
Oh my God.
And so as far as international shows, that was my favorite international show. And it was just, it was the last Spanibus this last year.
I know.
Really sad. Well, last Spanibus in Barcelona. They're doing one in Bilbao, but it won't be the same.
Yeah. Are you going to go to that one?
No, because it's on 420 weekend.
I know.
They ruined it by putting it on 420 weekend, and it's in Bilbao. So I'm not even, Bilbao's okay, but it's small. They don't have the infrastructure to hold an event like they did in Barcelona. And for the people that go, I hope they have an amazing time. I think it'll be great for the ones that go, but 420 weekend, we're definitely going to be around Bay Area, I believe. This year, we got some big plans. We're doing some amazing sales. We're going to be popping up at some shops and stuff like that. So,
oh my God, that's awesome.
So yeah, we have some big things in the works with clones and new joint ventures and partnerships with a couple different groups. So we're like super excited about that. Runts. We're working with like the chocolate runts, and we have some other runts drops that we're doing next year with Ray Bama and runts. So we're excited about that.
Oh my God, that's awesome. What better way to celebrate 420 than sell some clones and some seeds to people?
Yeah, and give them out too. I want to give out seeds and clones. We do that a lot. We did that at CannaFest. We gave out, we weren't supposed to sell clones there, but we basically brought clones there and we ended up giving them out. Right. So I sent clones home with a bunch of people. I got a lot of awesome photos back. And that's the other thing about the community in Humboldt. Like, you give them clones, they're going to grow them out. It's like, they're not just going to, they're not throwing them away. They're growing them. They're sending you photos. And I love Humboldt for that reason, that there's really passionate cannabis people. Not that there's not in other places, but Humboldt's like this concentration of them.
Yeah, there is a concentration of them. And we all love weed.
Yeah.
We're like, get excited about it.
Big smiles. When people start talking about weed, everybody smiles.
Yes, exactly. The joy.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you think the industry's going in the next 5 years, especially in California?
I think that craft producers are like really important. I feel, that as people grow to bigger like scales that maybe are not ready to be there yet, I think that crafts are like really coming out and people are seeing like little holes in the market, of like where they can fit in, which I think is like an amazing thing too. So I think that the market's going to keep growing. I really hope for, descheduling, I think that I have that in my like vision board of like just being alive for when that happens and what that looks like, I think that'll just be really exciting. And I think that like genetics and people are just going to be dialing in things like more, and like the technology will start to be used. Yeah. I think it's going to like destigmatize, like people aren't drinking as much now. I think it's just going to keep growing.
Alcohol's going down. Weed is going up. That's just the reality of it. And I think for the better, especially for people's health.
I think for people's health, and just like all the research, I think that there's so much more research that's coming out too, that we can like validate what we're saying this whole time with like, current research and not just like our personal, data that we get, I think that that's what I think that the industry is going to, people are like, get out now, sell. You're going to have to like, everyone's consolidating, but not everyone's going to consolidate. Like, I just think that that's just like what people are saying. And I really hope that, okay, like I'm going to say, like, I hope Space Jam is around for like another like 50 years, like 100 years. You know, I hope that we made a name, and I hope that we made like our niche where it is, and can keep growing it. So I don't think that there's death. I think that people are only going to want to eat, you know, or have like top quality things. I think that people are tired of smoking donut or salt weed, you know, and like they want the hype, they want the good stuff. And, you know, and like
people are going to be talking about effect.
I think people talk about effects like a lot. You know, that's why we like just did our new mini gems have lion's mane with, you know, so it's like an effect gummy, you know, because all of our hash is always mixed because I don't really believe in that indica sativa thing, just like on regional things. I don't know about you for a seed person. Do you believe in indica sativa?
Well, so indica sativa is more of the morphology about the plant structure and the way the plant looks, not necessarily about the effect, especially with modern day cultivars, because everything is so hybridized.
Yes.
Right. So from that perspective, I mean, it was an easy way to talk about, do you want something that wakes you up or makes you tired? Right. Yes. But that's not, you can't just look at, you know, and I think terpenes are a bigger conversation that we can be having, you know, flavor profiles. Yes. Those things dictate kind of the effect and can dictate the effect. It's also so subjective to the individual. But, you know, I feel like with edibles, it's a lot different too when we're talking about cannabinoids and cannabinoid profiles and what they do for you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so like that's why, you know, for basically this like our mini gem project, took me like almost like 2.5 years just because I really wanted to do like a sativa, indica, and hybrid. And I like looked into single strains and stuff like that. But then you're depending on the farmer. And like we use so much bubble hash, like it's going to have to like
so like you basically use a mix of all of it, and then
and then so we add lion's mane for a sativa effect, you know, and then we add cordyceps for a hybrid effect, and then we add reishi but we also do CBN with the indica effect, just because that's like the CBN
makes you a little more tired, and
definitely, and then the reishi mushroom, and then we do turkey tail with whole CBD flower and THC for like a 1-to-1.
Nice.
CBD.
I eat all those mushrooms individually every day.
It's like really, and like I can't believe like how much of a movement is behind the mushrooms, you know? Like obviously mushrooms are 50%, like share 50% of our DNA.
Totally.
It's like wild. And plants only share 30.
Yeah.
So like mushrooms are working in together with the plants. And when we made, when we first like made our first batch and stuff, and when we make other batches, this like really cool thing happens that I like love to talk about is, you know, obviously we were like doing a new method of flood and scrape, and then we were doing a flood and scrape method. We were waiting. The pot of coconut oil with hash was like it was cold. It wasn't like boiling. We poured the mushrooms in it and it boiled, and it was like happy to be together. Like the mushrooms and hash were like happy. They're like bursted together. It was like a rave.
Nice.
So amazing. Yes, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I love mushrooms, and I love the effect of mushrooms for my memory, especially things that I thought were fading that I started, you know, using
brain fog.
Oh, totally having brain fog, and it was the worst. And I thought it was the weed, and I thought it was the age, but it's corrected by eating mushrooms and eating a combination of mushrooms, and I feel like it makes a significant difference.
Oh my God, what do you take? So like what's
Rise coffee, and the rise
coffee. Yeah. A lot of people do rise coffee.
They
That's
do.
crazy.
I love the combination of, well, I'm not drinking regular coffee like I was before either. So now I might have a little coffee in the afternoon if I'm tired, but I'm doing the rise coffee, which has half of the amount of caffeine that you would normally take. And then it has a combination of 6 mushrooms, and, you know, it's got the cordyceps, it's got the turkey tails, it's got the reishis. I can't remember the rest, but it's got the good ones. Lion's mane. Yep.
That's really important.
I think it's super important, and see my memory working so good. But I really think it's made a difference in overall like health and also digestive health. Right, for me, I've lost this weight, but I'm not allergic to stuff that I used to, and I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe from the weight loss, maybe from the mushrooms, maybe the combination of the lifestyle, all these things. But I used to be allergic to peanut butter when I was 14 years old. Till the time I was 48, I couldn't eat peanut butter.
Oh, no way. That's wild.
And this year, I accidentally ate some peanut butter, and not peanut butter. Sorry, I actually ate some peanuts. There were boiled peanuts in this Chinese dish with like banana leaves that has rice and peanuts. And I thought they were beans, and they were peanuts. And I've been allergic to peanuts ever since I was a kid. I'm allergic to stone fruit and some other stuff that just sucks. I love mangoes, can't eat it. Plums and pluots. I've started eating peaches again. I've started eating pluots again.
Oh my God.
I still can't eat mangoes. And then walnuts, I still have a little bit of a problem. They make my tongue swell up just a little. I might even be fine. But like I had all these allergies and now they're gone. And I would like to think it's the mushrooms. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it could be contributing to the gut biome and my gut health.
Oh my God. Or just being conscious of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm older too. So I feel like I'm getting older and like you got to be aware of this kind of stuff and trying to optimize your health. It's not about just falling in the ranges of the doctor's office. You should be looking at optimizing your health, exercising regularly, drinking enough water. You know, you don't need to overdo it on water, but you definitely need to drink enough.
Yep, definitely. I know I got an Aura ring, like these like ring things, like it's like crazy, like just like what it comes up with and how I sleep and like how I should go about my day. I think it like really helps.
I had one for several years. Mine died last year and I haven't replaced it. I got a silicone ring, but yeah, but I love the Aura ring. I think it's great. And then, when you get a perfect night's sleep, I don't know how often that happens for you, but in mine, it wouldn't happen all the time, but.
Yeah, but then it makes me excited for the day or like my readiness or like and just be able to handle stress like a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, if I have to take a step out or something.
What I learned with the Aura ring is that if I smoke hella weed right before I go to bed, I didn't get as good a sleep.
That's so crazy you say that because I'm like trying to track my sleep to see like with like the edibles I eat and like that, And like I do magnesium at night too. So like I'm trying to track all of it.
You want to know what's super funny? That I was testing on myself was Delta 8 gummies worked better for sleep than Delta 9 gummies for whatever reason. Probably because they're only 20% as strong.
Oh my God.
We were getting really good quality Delta 8. And so we were making gummies with it. This is 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
But literally the Delta 8 gave me better sleep than the Delta 9.
All that cannabinoid history, like it's like, is that real? Is that real studies? You know what I mean? Is it just our personal experience with it too? And like, is our body chemistry?
Is it bad? Is Delta 8 bad? Because I think a lot of people are like, oh dude, Delta 8 is, made in the lab and it's bad. I think made from good plant material, I don't think there's anything wrong with synthesizing Delta 8 made from quality material, but the majority of it's made from shit.
Yes, and the majority is made from shit.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? It's not the cannabinoid is not the problem.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is the shitty material that they're making stuff from and cleaning out the rest of it and giving you an inferior product. I don't think there's anything wrong with the cannabinoids. I think they all have their use and they can be made correctly with good material and be a good thing. But most of the time people are buying garbage.
I know. And that's scary. Or just like, or makes people sick and it just turns them off, but some of those were like 1,000 milligrams Delta 8 to 3,000 milligrams, like crazy percentages, like on the packaging. I'm like, what is going on here?
Why do people, why do you have to lie to people? The other thing is like,
oh, that's like a big thing.
Yeah. It's why it's so unnecessary. And then people think of, they think of this product completely differently than reality. And it's so much of this stuff goes on all the time, unfortunately. And, there's people giving cannabis a bad name out there.
Yes.
I do like the cannabis beverages though. I think it's a huge sector. I think it's going to be exploited by the big beverage companies. But I do like the concept of, beverages because instead of going to the bar and getting those, it'd be great if you could go to the bar and get a 10 or 15 milligram drink.
Yeah, that was what was crazy at the Dead & Co. How many people came for those drinks, like Mother Pucker, like I was blown away. And how they're like, oh my God, we had such a great time. We had like our little 2 milligram THC drink. And it was like, we had the best time, and I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. They're like, we didn't even drink any alcohol. And then we had all of our stuff so we didn't have to go run to the bar and go get stuff too. And I was like, wow, that's so incredible.
Yeah, it's cheaper because the alcohol there was crazy expensive. It's wild, but it's funny because I feel like people are replacing alcohol with THC and also with mushrooms.
With mushrooms. I know everyone's doing those psychedelic mushrooms.
It's a trip, literally.
I know. It's totally, people ask me all the time. They're like, are you going to do psychedelic mushroom gummies? And I'm just like, look, my brain has been like twisted like way too much just at this moment in my life. Like I do not want to R&D those processes because when I R&D like our process, I'm like high as shit. Like I can barely see, like it's a whole thing, you know? And I'm like, to do the psychedelic, I'm like, where is my brain going to go? And like, I just got to.
Well, and I love being a consumer in the cheap seats watching the whole industry unfold, right? Like literally, I love mushrooms. I love psychedelic mushrooms. I love all kinds of mushrooms. I have chanterelles at the house, but I love everything about mushrooms. People were like, dude, you should get into breeding mushrooms when it's first started like building up as an industry. Yeah. And I'm like, I've already gone through this with legalization with cannabis. I'm not going to go, this is my thing. I don't want to try to pioneer something else, you know? It's like we've had a hard enough struggle with this. And it's like there's such a low ceiling. And I love the fact that other people are doing it. I think it's necessary. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I want to give them high fives too. It's like that's great that they're doing it.
Totally. I really have to say with mushrooms, which is like really cool about it, is like the mycelium. About like, obviously you took mushrooms today. I don't know, I took mushrooms today. Just like the mycelium, the network, and like how you're like in the flow, and it's like in your body, and like all like connects and like you're spreading miracles and like all the good things.
Totally. You become more connected with everything. And I think we're connected. Actually, I think we're connected all along. We're connected. You're just more of aware of your connection, right?
More aware of your connection.
That's the big thing.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. And I think that mushrooms and psychedelics, what they do is you're not more connected when you're on them. You're just more aware of your connection because we're connected to everything all the time. And so sometimes it takes pulling those filters off and seeing the world how it really is. And, and then the beauty that's just there all the time. And, so we get frustrated about life, but when you start taking psychedelics, it kind of puts reality into perspective.
I know. I really love acid. I think that's like my thing. And I'm like so excited about the acid that like comes in like a little mint spray thing, like the evolution of acid. Like,
it's changed so much.
And I'm like so all excited and all about that. So like I love mushrooms too, but I just think that just, like if I'm going to do a psychedelic, I definitely go for acid more than mushrooms.
What's so funny because, the micro dosing LSD is like, so like you can take one or two sprays and it's kind of even. With microdosing mushrooms, it goes in waves still, right? Yep. Where you'll feel it in your arm hairs might pop up a little bit and then it goes away and you'll get the cold chills a little bit and it goes away, but you go in waves. Whereas like LSD is very clean and very like, you can do a microdose and if you do a tiny little bit, you don't even really feel it.
Yeah, totally.
And I think, but then even like a little bit more, we never did microdoses when we were younger. It was always like, okay, we want to get high. Right?
We want to get high.
I mean, I think we might have, if we were broke, we split like a hit of acid before, or we only had one hit, we would split it. Or if there was like a handful of them, that was the least amount we ever did. And that was usually enough to get you off pretty good.
Yeah, totally. I know. I feel like at MJ BizCon, that's what I do just to stay out sometimes, this little spray of acid just to keep going. And then you barely drink either.
Well, I don't want to drink when
you just don't. And you just drink water and you're just like hanging out,
Yeah, that's the thing is like when I drink on psychedelics, I can drink a lot, but I don't want to drink. It makes me not want to drink. I don't want to eat or drink. I don't want to look at food. Food looks weird. I don't want to look in the mirror myself. That's the worst too, is like going to the bathroom, looking at the mirror. You're like, is that me?
I'm like, I feel like I just see glitter and sparkles.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like there's this new movement of psychedelics.
Yes.
And people are open to it. People that weren't open to it before that have never experienced it are like talking about it like, man, they found something new. It's like, shit, this is the stuff we were doing when we were kids.
Yeah. But it's really helping people with depression and getting people off of like antidepressants and like medications that they think they're going to be on for the rest of their life,
Totally.
Like that's like just such a beautiful part of it, and I see that. Or people just going through problems and they don't have a solution,
Right.
And it's like their brain can't even go there. Like sometimes your brain just needs to open these pathways,
right.
Like we always know the solution. We just got to find it,
For sure.
Yeah. And inside of ourselves, then always turn that off,
Well, and the advances in technology, we're able to study people's biomarkers and things a lot more than we ever have before. And they're learning how safe this stuff actually is and how it can be used in a controlled environment and improve people's lives, right? Stuff that, it's a Schedule I drug. Like it's, you should go to prison for it. Like I believe there's medical uses for all these different psychedelics that can help people get over depression, get over anxiety, get over, and we're just scratching the surface of it.
Yeah, totally. Because I think like the fear, like there's so much fear,
Yeah.
and like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like, and it's like getting out of your own way,
Right.
and just believing in the universe or believing that there's good things that are happening. Like take that leap of faith and like, our reality is only as big as it can be, like we got to break it down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think you manifest stuff in your life. I manifest stuff in my life.
Yeah.
Like you can manifest good or you can manifest bad. And if you really focus on the good things will happen to you.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I try not to hate. There's people that really I want to hate them so bad.
I know there's like a person too.
There's some people that I just really want to hate, but I can't do it. I don't hate anybody. There's people I dislike, but I can't have that weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And you can hate on me, you can talk shit, you can say whatever you want about me. And you know what? Sometimes it might hurt for a little bit, but I get over it and I don't hate anybody.
I know. I think that they're all lessons sometimes,
Yep.
and lessons I have to learn. Like I've had some like big lessons to learn, and it's so crazy to stay in that victim mentality, or you get out of that victim mentality. Right. I even wrote this like a distributor like at the beginning of the month or no last week or whatever, and just like I was like really angry at them, and I was like, you know what? I'm not angry at you. And I just like had to like reverse it, and like be like, I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm sorry that I felt this way. And we like made up, and like we had an email conversation with each other. Then we text each other back and forth like a heart and like a starburst. And like,
nice.
Like sometimes like it really, like I want to like be able to like, I can forgive people. I can also forgive myself for acting the way I did. And I also understand that I had a part in that, and
right.
like, yeah, I think that those are good things. Definitely.
But people that owe other people money, pay your tabs. That's the one that bothers me the most. That honestly bothers me the most is the people that, it's like, I understand like, in this product, in this world, we have to put stuff on consignment.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's seeds, whether it's flour, whether it's gummies, and we're expecting people to pay us back. And there's people that, that sometimes situations happen.
Yes.
And then there's other people that they're taking you for a ride and they're taking advantage of you. Those people are bad. There's bad people out there. And sometimes they can make excuses or whatever, but people pay your tabs. Like, I think that's the big thing.
Yes.
Like, and communication's everything in those situations.
Yeah, communication. I really realize that too, because sometimes, just like, we just with our hash bill or something like that, I think that that's why it's like when you work together for someone with so long, like you can like talk openly about the problems. Like, hey, I have like a packaging thing. Like, do I pay you? Or like, you can, as long as you're gonna pay and acknowledge that, and also not going to Tahiti or like Maui or something, like as you owe those people money too, like
for sure, posting on social media, nice vacations and meals, and I mean.
No, totally. I'm really grateful for the relationships. Like our AR is like not bad at all. And, I think that that's really awesome, and making sure you communicate with the shops and also asking, and people, you should totally hit those people up. If you're feeling that way, hit them up to see if you can get paid from it, sometimes it does work. Sometimes it doesn't. People are jerks. Yeah. People that we had a huge tab open with the old distributor, and it's crazy how much money it was, and you just have to walk away. You have to walk away sometimes because it's like,
San Francisco 2 years ago.
Oh my God,
oh
dude.
My God, what a nightmare.
Oh my God, San Francisco in general. Like I feel like the city's back alive, but like, man, that was crazy what COVID did to that city, you know? And like,
Well, COVID and then the laws that the city passed where they weren't arresting people that stole less than $900 or did a crime that was, that's so crazy that we had to deal with this and go through this, and all the retail stores closed in San Francisco. Not all of them, but all the big ones were leaving, and it's like common sense stuff. And it's really sad. And, sometimes what people are trying to do is the opposite of what they end up doing, unfortunately.
That's crazy. We were talking about London Breed, about what she did, and like about how much it changed in this new mayor, Matt Hanley.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yes, good job, Wendy. How much he's changed like the city around and stuff. I can't believe it was $900. So that's like a lot of why stores were leaving, because you can't like if someone steals $900, that's expensive. Like
you can't go after that person. You can't assault that person. Those people get to leave, and even if the cops get them, they might be able to recover your stuff, but they don't even get arrested. They get to get let go. And so, it's
there's
like
no consequence. You have to have consequences for things, I'm sorry, but like you do, if you do something bad, like, even like being a boss, like I know that too. If someone messes up, you have to have like some form of a thing. You can't just like sweep it under the rug and just like think it's forgetting, because it's going to affect someone, you know? We do all make mistakes, but stealing is not a mistake. Like that's not something. I never like stole or like had klepto things or anything. I was not into that. My parents were very like, no, we buy it. This is how it is, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, it's so funny because I had parents that like, they had friends that stole some silverware when they were going out to eat one time. And my dad talked about that for years. 10, 15 years later, he would still bring that up. How he couldn't believe those people would steal silverware from a restaurant. And, I was raised differently. It's like, my parents are very much like, even if you like something, you pay for it. Yeah, regardless, you pay for it.
You just pay for it. You don't even ask.
Yeah, and if you can't afford it, you don't deserve it.
Yeah, right? Totally. I know, it's like so crazy. Even this, that's crazy about the silverware. I don't know why. Don't steal silverware from restaurants. Like, do not do that. That is not a good idea. That restaurant has to pay for it. You have to remember there's owners. I've had to say that to a team member too. Make them return. But just like with, like talking with our hash person and stuff and getting them a machine and talking about packaging, I'm like, no, I'm still going to pay you on this date. Like, you have to acknowledge that, like make sure that's like on your mind. And, as you talk about growing, you have to think about the bills that you still have to pay, Right.
And with employees, there's going to be times in your business. I mean, building a business isn't easy. And there's times where you may not be able to pay your employees, but communication is the most important part. Right. So like, I think above all, communication goes a long ways with people. And I might not be able to pay you today, but I'll be able to pay you next week, and follow through. And if you're not going to be able to pay them, then you give them notice. You don't wait till the last day to tell people. You try to communicate as much as possible. Communication just goes so long.
I know. I feel like sometimes I over communicate, but I'd rather over communicate than not, just because then it gets off of my chest, because I like worry about things like that. And I don't want someone to think like I'm not thinking of them. I think that that's all you want to know. Like, you're like, okay, oh, you still know that. I don't have to bring it up to you, like, you're still aware of it. It's very important. Yeah. And stores like don't communicate. And, like we don't even have sales reps because like it's so expensive to run a brand and to do all this stuff. And like with stores, and obviously we've been around for long enough, and I do like go out and I try to do as many educational videos, but it's like hard to have sales reps just because of like the store thing and about people not paying and like, like having the owner come down. I even came down one time and the guy, like they kicked me out with like told me they were going to call the cops on me, It's like crazy. Really? I won't ever forget that in the Inland Empire. And the shop's not even around anymore, but like totally like.
That's why.
Like it's not good. But then they had like things for Vegas and all that stuff, it's like, but you can't pay your vendors. Like that's like a thing, and like just because I'm not like as big as like other brands and stuff, like I saw big bills to pay. Like you just want me to die. Like some companies just want you to die,
Well, karma's a bitch. Karma believes in you, whether you believe in karma or not. Karma happens whether you believe in it or not.
I know, that's totally true. I definitely have had to call on Elliot from Catalyst one time. I had to drop his name. I was like, if you don't pay me, I'm like going to see Elliot and this will be discussed. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, so I'm like grateful for Elliot.
Big shout out to Elliot.
I was like, I told him that too. And he was like, no way, Wendy.
Well, and I love Elliot because he is unfiltered. He speaks his mind and he does not give a shit.
No, and I like love him so
we
much.
We need people like Elliot, especially with this industry, right? In California, with this industry, there needs to be Elliot standing up for people.
Yeah, because he's speaking for like the people, like just all the things that happen. Even with the category 4, I had no idea what the distillate carts and stuff, like what was in them. And he like broke down like the poison in them and stuff. And then like, oh my God, you can't do category 4, obviously for edibles in a way, because it's such a little amount in the edible, But yeah, I'm like, it's going to be an interesting, like, I'm grateful, like someone cares about the health of people, and like about the plant and what they're smoking. It's very important.
Yeah. And we need people to fight.
And we need people to fight and have that fight in them, because sometimes we get tired, but he gets pumped up, him and Anna. I'm like, Anna, like loves him up so much that he's like, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the people fighting for it.
No,
this got taken away from us. It's not like it was always illegal. No. It got taken away, and then we had to fight.
Yeah,
we had to fight tooth and nail to get it back. And then, like literally people, people have gone to prison, people have died,
Yes.
And it was illegal for a really long time, much longer than alcohol was.
Yes.
And then we had to fight the stigma of cannabis being bad, because there was these lies that were told about this plant that people believed, and some people still believe, but the younger generation, they're starting to learn. There's a lot more information online. You can't just BS everybody about it, all this stuff. The studies are coming out, the proof is coming out, and I'm happy about those kind of changes.
I'm really happy about those changes too. I worked at I had a booth at the state fair, and it was like so impressive. People walking through the state fair, they did an amazing job of like representation to explain the breakdown of cannabis and how it can help you and stuff. And people are coming to the booth. They're like, okay, I just stopped taking my antidepressants because like I wasn't feeling good, or like, what can I do now? Or like, I have like really bad knee pain and like the pills aren't working, or like they just make me sleep all the time, And like, I feel like the education is there, and definitely young people, but I feel like older people too, because they're realizing that they have to take care of their body. And I feel like obviously prescription pills are so expensive, once you realize that you're locked into that, and I don't know, cannabis can be just as helpful.
Healthcare is so expensive. And I also think healthcare should be covering cannabis for people that need it medically. I think that is one of the saddest things going on right now. And also the wreck we've gone away from medical and talking about it like medicine. And it's like, it's medicine, whether you believe in it or not as medicine. And that conversation needs to still be had, but there's people that deserve access covered by healthcare if they're using it as medicine, especially for pain and other things like that.
Yeah, I think that's the conversation of medicine with rec has like totally went away. Obviously, there's not many tinctures on the market. So it's like 1%, and that's like such an amazing product to help people through so many things, I'm like really bummed about that. And when I do talk about it with medicine, I feel like ice water hash is like the best medicine, like eating it is like the best medicine for your body. People are like so blown away by it. So many people are for profit and money and, distillate biomass.
And I love 1-to-1 CBD to THC. I love those awesome. Balance. Yeah, I love the way the effect from it. I love the flower. Like we're breeding towards tasty versions of stuff that has both CBD and THC. I think the world needs more of that.
I think the world needs more of that. And like also other cannabinoids, just not all THC, right. Obviously there's edibles on the market that have other cannabinoids in them. We do our own CBN and CBD in it, but like CBG, obviously CBC is like.
CBC is great. CBG is a precursor and it's anti-inflammatory. It doesn't even get you high. You can eat, I've eaten grams of it before and it makes you just super relaxed.
So how do you get grams of it? Do you get grams of it in distillate and isolate form? Like isolate form? See, exactly. Because I'm happy we brought that point up.
Yeah. CBG is, it's considered hemp, right? But it's a precursor. They can extract it, especially for ulcerative colitis, which is, I had gut problems, but that was one of them. So I had the worst ulcerative colitis. I pretty much almost died from it. It was, I was on... I had to go get.
So sorry.
Oh yeah, it was gnarly.
I'm like so sorry. That's like really stressful, especially with all this stuff going on.
I had this is like 7 years ago. I had Crohn's disease and I had ulcerative colitis, and I was on biologic infusions that I had to go to the doctors for, and I've gotten away from all of that stuff, And so literally, I started taking biologics. I was on biologics for 2 years. This drug called Remicade. It was really bad.
It's really bad for you.
Yeah,
it's like Sorry to say that.
But I think,
no, that's not the best drug. So, and then you feel like cannabis has like helped you to not be on that drug anymore.
I think cannabinoids, if you look at Israel, like Dedi Meiri, the trials that he's done, he talks about how cannabinoids have fixed autoimmune diseases. Ulcerative colitis, that's an autoimmune disease. And so I believe the cannabinoids make a huge difference that I couldn't live without them. Right.
Do you feel so? Obviously, you took CBG, right? CBG in an isolate form. So you feel like that really helped. Obviously,
I was taking it with coconut oil. That was CBD together, and I was taking a concentrated dose of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I'm like, these other edible companies that have THC, CBG, and stuff like that, it can only be in an isolate form, right?
Right.
Almost like, yes. Yeah, totally. So that's a very interesting point. It's not from just like the regular flower, right? It would have to be, okay.
Well,
And so-
you have to harvest the flower early because
Yes,
it's a precursor, right?
Yeah,
And so,
totally. Yep. It would be like super early to like harvest it that early, right?
yeah, they're
Like-
pretty early. I mean, it just depends on the cultivar. There's high CBG cultivars, and the thing is so the white CBG from Oregon CBD is a specific cultivar that's high CBG that doesn't convert. It doesn't. The pathways are blocked to convert to THC and CBD, so it's high CBG. So you can harvest that plant, and it doesn't have a lot of flavor or anything, but they harvest it and they turn it into isolate.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And then CBC.
Yeah.
So sometimes like we see that in our test results, you know? And so are there high cultivars of CBC?
For sure, there's higher cultivars with all these different things. CBC, there's specific cultivars. I believe, I know somebody who has a high CBC cultivar, but also, THCV. There's THCV and the variants CBDV, THCV. There's cultivars that are higher in these cannabinoids. And I think the variant's an interesting one, especially... I mean, I don't know about edibles. I've never eaten a THCV edible. Have you?
Yes, of course, because I try everyone's edibles just because I like to be like that. And I want to make sure my edibles are the best.
Was it stronger?
No, I don't feel like it was stronger. It was made with a distillate. And I don't believe those cannabinoids also, just because like in our market, it's they only really test the like it's really the THC CBD is like that's the label claim. So these other label claims, you can have like a little bit of the other ones, but.
Some Pink Boost Goddess.
The Pink Boost Goddess, I know, some Emerald Spirit, yes, definitely. He made a tincture, I feel like, and I actually just found it the other day too, and I've tried that before.
Yeah.
But I don't know like what you're looking for. If like you're looking to like be stimulated and like go, like walk around Disneyland,
Yeah, and I think some of it does different things for different people.
Yeah, totally. I think all cannabinoids, I just feel like our system is so different. Just the cannabinoids just like work in our system totally differently. We can't say it's just like this one thing, but I guess.
Well, yeah, our body chemistries are so uniquely different. We don't have a shared experience with everything.
Them. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and we're starting to understand it. They're starting to isolate stuff, but I think a lot of the magic comes from like the full spectrum expression.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's part of the difficult part too, because now we're looking at so many different things that are in this plant. Right, that we're ingesting, we're smoking, or whatever, but it's hard to get a shared experience from something that's so complex.
So yeah, I definitely, and because like I just wish I could see the test results of like how that CBG or CBC would wash or like the hash from it, but obviously it would all have to be an isolate because it wouldn't wash very well because it would be too early.
Yeah,
and like all those different. And to see like what other cannabinoids are in those plants that aren't in the THC like dominant plants, I feel as, just as people are growing, obviously you just named like a couple of people that were growing different like cannabinoids, like high in it, just like how other people are going to do it. I feel like if you are doing it, obviously Pink Goddess, like Emerald Spirit, Botanicals or whatever, like what. Okay, so then he said it was like in a couple different strains of it, like just like a couple different plants of it. It's not the whole strain though, so it's not like they got like a seed pack, like
no, they've refined it through selective breeding, and they've been it's in my book, it's in my breeding book, right? God, they're featured in there. Yeah, I'll give you a copy, but yeah, it's like they've really refined it and taken it to a level that's it was discovered at a very low level, and now they're talking about it being, I know above 10%, I think 20% THCV. Yeah. And we were talking about 3 to 4%, 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
That is amazing and incredible. And then the fact that they knew it was important to do that too.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Oh,
yeah.
man.
And I mean, I think people are out there doing the Lord's work, and some people don't even know why they're doing it, but they're just on a path. And I love it. I think those people deserve a lot of respect.
Yeah. That's because that's work. That's like your life's work. That's like, as you're like going for that. Obviously, this is your life work too, like, yeah, I know. That's like incredible.
It's fun. It's fun being here. It's fun, And I mean, I'm just talking about being alive. It's fun being alive, doing this stuff, and to be able to do podcasts and to be able to be part of an industry that's so much bigger than myself.
Yeah.
It's like just being able to be one of the cogs in the wheel. It's just kind of really what it's all about. And it's like, I wake up smiling. Not every day, but I wake up smiling most days.
Yes.
That I get to go to work and I get to do this stuff still. And, I think we're just so blessed to be at a time when this is legal where we don't have to worry about helicopters overhead.
Yeah, totally. Just because I lived in Northern Humboldt because I wouldn't want that stuff, just that reality of
that
it,
stress.
That stress is real, and I can do what I can do. If it's if it's small scale, it's small scale. If it's bigger scale, it's going to grow bigger,
Right.
and definitely. I love what I do so much. So that's a really important, I want to I wake up every day, super grateful. Love this plant.
Totally. And the people make this plant great too. This industry is really the people too, and the diversity from all over the world. I have friends from because of this plant.
Yes.
I have friends all over the world.
That's so incredible.
That I wouldn't have necessarily if I wasn't involved in this industry and doing what I do. I wouldn't be friends with people in Trinidad and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and even people in Europe and South America, South Africa, Australia, Thailand, all over the world, literally all over the world.
Oh my God.
I'm Finnish. I've never been to Finland, but I have friends in Finland because of this plant. So,
Maybe that's going to happen soon.
Seriously, it's got to. If you had one piece of advice for your younger self, what would that one piece of advice be?
Oh, I don't have any regrets, to totally be honest.
Yeah.
I am just believe in yourself, and really, I think, knowing that I have a purpose here and that I have a spot here and, just keep going, girl. I feel like I did the best I could with what I had, and I'm super proud of myself to be here in this spot as I'm 44 years old and, able to create jobs and be super proud of myself and my good product. The product speaks for itself. And that's just put the highest quality ingredients and make the best product and just.
So my old motto for Loud Seeds was "Loud Seeds, they speak for themselves."
Oh, that's awesome!
So literally, that's the best ever. And I think that having a good product, it needs to speak for itself.
It is, yeah. So. And the packaging stuff is real, but you can have flashy packaging and have a horrible product, But if I had horrible packaging, little Mylar bag stickers and all that stuff. So, definitely all the different things, and just keep going. Just start. People should know just to start. Just start small.
Start small, put one foot in front of the others. And there's going to be bad days where you have to just put one foot in front of the other. Yes. I've experienced some of those lately. It's been fun, but getting through those, you realize that you're capable of anything. Yes. If you don't give up, you can really just keep on moving.
And I definitely say I smoke smoke hash when it's that hard. It's a hard day. You got to put one foot in front of the other. Go get yourself a Puffco and just smoke hash all day and just do the task.
Well, and that's what this plant was here for, right?
Yes, totally. Yep. And it's going to be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely, I guess. Yeah.
So if people are looking more to find out about Wendy, where's the best place to go?
Well, I have an Instagram, which is Wendy the Space Gem, and the website for spacegemcandy.com, because that was our original name, was Space Gem Candy. Yeah. That's basically where you should go, is where you'd find me the most.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This is incredible. And your studio is impeccable. High tech. I really want to say you're doing it right. I'm so impressed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We love it. We love it. I love the team. We have a great team.
You have a good team.
It's just a combination of all the great things that, I love it. I love the team. I love the studio. I love the guests. We have the best guests. Literally out of all the shows, I don't know about the host, but I feel like our guests are the best. We have the most diverse guests. Yep. We have the guests that are telling the true story of this plant. And, that as far as my legacy with my breeding and all that other stuff, I want that to be part of my legacy, is telling the story of this plant. And so every one of my guests is a part of that. I love it.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm part of the story.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys very much for your support. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below.